Good day everyone. I am Mary Rose Gutierrez and this recorded video is the continuation of our presentation which entitled Validity and Reliability of Classroom Tests. The topic that assigned to me is all about reliability. But before we start into our discussion, let me share my screen for you to be able to see my PowerPoint presentation. Now, let's start to our discussion. Again, my topic is all about establishing reliability. So, first is I want to define what is reliability. So, reliability refers to how consistently a method measures something. If the same result can be consistently achieved by using the same methods under the same circumstances, the measurement is considered reliable. So, reliability is important characteristics of any test. And to simplify the definition of reliability, it is all about the consistency of the test items or the scores of the students regarding to the questionnaire. So, mako-considered natin na reliable yung assessment or yung test na binigay natin sa students natin if the results are the same. Like, for example, is yung score ni students sa test 1, 2, and 3 ay pare-parehas or mas tumaas pa. It means na reliable yun kasi nagkaroon ng consistency sa scores niya. And mas maganda pa dun dahil tumaas. It means na mas natututo yung estudyante. To measure the reliability of the test, we have different types or methods na gagamitin. So, there are 3 approaches to establishing instrument reliability. Each is a statistical test of correlation to measure consistency. First is we have test retest reliability. Second is parallel form reliability. And the last is internal consistency reliability. The first method is test retest reliability. So, it is the consistent results over time. Give the assessment twice separated by days, weeks, or months. Reliability is stated as the correlation between scores at time 1 and time 2. So, test retest is the common measure of reliability. So, basically, ang process or ang procedure na ginagawa dito is we have to give the same assessment to the same respondents on 2 separate occasions. So, for example is 'di ba meron tayong tinatawag na pre-test and post-test. So, yung pre-test is binibigay siya before we start to our classes, and the post-test is of course it is given by the end of the semester. So, kung makikita natin or kung mapapansin natin is meron mahaba yung time ng pagitan nila. But they have the similar or the same questionnaire. Kumbaga parehas lang yung mga nakapaloob doon na questions. So, in test retest kasi, minemeasure talaga dito yung stability of test scores ng respondents. Kasi, 'di ba, dahil sa interval time, pwedeng magbago or hindi yung scores nila, and pwede rin namang tumaas or bumaba. So, in test retest reliability, ginagamitan siya ng statistical measurement which is yung correlation coefficient or Pearson R. As you can see on the screen, meron dyang table and formula to measure the test retest reliability or ang statistical measure niyan is the Pearson R. So, makikita nyo dyan sa table, dito muna po tayo sa table. So, meron dyang students N, which is yung number of respondents or examinees, and yung meron ding X, which is yung score of the test, yung score ng respondents on the first test, while naman yung y, it is the scores of the retest. So, yung x squared, makukuha po natin yung x squared to multiply yung x by itself. So, kung ano yung result ng x, ilalagay mo siya sa x squared. Like, for example po is 1 times 1 equals 1. Yung 1 na sagot sa x, ilalagay mo siya sa x squared. So, ayun. Ganun din po sa y squared. You need to multiply the y by itself. So, while naman yung xy, you need to na makuha yung product of x and y. So, i-multiply mo lang si x at saka si y. So, like for example dyan is 1 times 2 equals 2, o 0 times 3 equals 0, 2 times 4 2 times 2 rather equals 4. So, ayun lang yon. And next naman na gagawin mo kapag nakuha mo na yung x squared, y squared, and xy, you need to sum up yung bawat column. Like, for example, dito sa x, pinag-add niya lang yung column na yon. Like, yung naging total nun is 20. Tapos yung sa y naman, 36. And yung sa x squared, 62. Y squared, 148. And the xy is 87. So, now let's move on to the formula. So, the next step is we need to follow the formula. So, kung ano po yung mga hinahanap sa formula, ay ayun din po yung makikita natin, or dun din po natin makikita yun sa table na ginawa natin, or sa table na may mga kinumpute tayo. So, i-follow lang yon, and then after that, kapag nalagay na po yung mga hinahanap, ang gagawin naman po natin is to compute to compute the formula or yung mga nilagay natin. So, yung example ko kasi dito, ang naging result niya is 0.745 or 0.74 or 75. Ayun na lang. Doon na lang po tayo kasi 2 decimal point. So, now titignan na po natin kung naging reliable ba yung test na binigay natin. So, we have an interpretation, as you can see on the screen, na meron dyang numbers, and yung bawat numbers na yun ay may equivalent. So, yung mga numbers po na nandyan, sila po yung mga na-compute, or maaaring nakapasok dyan yung na-compute natin kanina sa Pearson R, which is yung may formula and table. So, yung mga equivalent naman nila, doon natin malalaman kung naging reliable ba yung test na binigay natin. And according to our computation, dun sa example ko is meron po nakuha po natin is 0.75. So, hanapin lang natin kung saan nakapaloob yung 0.75 na yon. And ayun, nandoon po yung 0.75 sa high. It means na yung test na ibinigay ay merong pong high reliability. So, after that, you need to interpret kung ano yung naging findings or naging results ng test mo, kung sa computation mo, kung naging reliable po ba siya or hindi. The second method is parallel form reliability, or also known as alternate form. So it is the consistent results between different forms of the same test. So the process is we need to create two forms of the same test, vary the items slightly. Reliability is stated as correlation between scores of test 1 and test 2. So, we used it to assess the consistency of the results of two sets constructed in the same way from the same content domain. So, the procedure or the way to accomplish the parallel forms is we need to create a large set of questions that addresses the same construct. So, I think yung 100 items is pwede siya kasi large sets of questions na siya. And then we need to randomly divide the questions into sets. So, after we divide the questions into two sets, is meron na po tayong Form A and Form B, which is pareha silang merong tig 50 items. Kasi yun nga, in example ko kanina, meron tayong 100 items. So, dinivide siya. Ngayon, yung Form A and Form B ay may tig 50 items. So, pwede natin gawin dito is yung Form A, pwede natin ibigay for the pre-test and yung Form B for the post-test. But it would even be better if we randomly assigned individuals to receive the Form A or Form B on the pre-test and then switch them on the post-test. So, pwede po yun. It's up to you kung anong way yung gagamitin mo. Pero, dapat yung forms, no, which is yung Form A and Form B, ay mabibigay mo siya on the same person para makikita mo yung correlation. Hindi pwedeng si students nakuha yung Form A, tas yung Form B, hindi. So, masasabi natin na reliable ang na reliable yung test is if the score of the students are correlated or they have the same results. So, it means na reliable yun. In parallel forms, it will measure talaga yung equivalence of the test items. So, at the same time, it will also help us or help the teacher to know or to measure the IQ of the students. Kasi 'di ba, binibigay natin yung test on the different forms, but malalaman natin kung naiintindihan ba talaga ng estudyante yung questions if yung scores nila is correlated. Kasi yung form na yon or yung test items na yon are they have the same construct, skills and knowledge. Iisa lang. So, unlike naman sa test retest reliability, 'di ba? Doon naman measure or nalalaman natin kung lifelong learner ba yung isang students or yung isang respondents kasi mayroon naman doong interval time na binibigay. So, in parallel forms, ang statistical measurement na ginamit dito is same lang po sa test retest reliability, which is yung Pearson R or Pearson moment correlation coefficient. So, ayun lang din po yung formula na gagamitin. The third method is internal consistency reliability. So, it is the degree to which all the items measure the content domain consistently. And it is used to assess the consistency of results across items within a test. So, internal consistency reliability indicates the extent to which items on a test measure the same thing. So, ito po yung gagamitin nating test instrument to have an internal consistency. So, take note that a high internal consistency reliability coefficient for a test it indicates that the items on the test are very similar to each other in the content. And in this case, our items ay dapat ay homogeneous from each other. So, masasabi natin na meron siyang internal consistency yung test items natin kasi dahil nga in the first place, ito po ay homogeneous. So, yung mga questions or test items natin ay merong consistency dahil they are connected to each other. And it is very important po na malaman natin na yung length of a test ay pwedeng maka-affect doon sa internal consistency, reliability. So, tinutukoy po dito yung the length of the test. So, it means that it is the number of items that we are giving in a particular exam or assessment. So, bakit nga ba nakaka-apekto yon yung length of test sa internal consistency, reliability? So, because a very lengthy test item can spuriously inflate the reliability coefficient. So, ibig sabihin po nun na kapag masyadong mahaba yung questions or yung test na items na binibigay natin is parang nagiging exaggerated na po siya or hindi na siya realistic. So, ayun po yung nagiging reason. We have two types of internal consistency reliability. So, the first one is split half. So, in split half reliability, we need to randomly divide all the items that we intend to measure. So, na-measure dito yung same construct into two set of items. And masasabi natin na reliable yung binigay nating test sa ating mga respondents if the scores of the each half or if the scores of each sets of test items are correlated or connected to each other. So, the second one is coefficient alpha or also known as Cronbach's alpha. So, it is about determining how all the items of an instrument relate to all other items and of course to the overall instrument. So, this is the end of my discussion. The next presenter is Miss Villegas and she will compare and contrast the validity and reliability. And she also discussed on our synchronous the factors of establishing validity and reliability of classroom tests. So, that's all and thank you.